AI is a game-changing technology when it comes to prototyping your digital products. In this video, I'm showing you how you can take a rough first idea to a clickable prototype within 20 minutes. So this is how this video is structured. I will give a brief introduction to the topic of prototyping before and after the arrival of AI technology, and then I will move on and show how to build an actual prototype of an idea I had. Along the way, I will share my learnings. So imagine you are in one of the following roles: a developer, marketer, designer, or product owner. You might lack a specific skill to get your prototype off the ground. Or you are even in a very different role, in a business managing role, in an HR role, whatever the role might be, AI is here to help you out. So a marketer might lack the coding skills, a product owner might lack the design skills, a developer lacks the writing skills, and so on. You get the picture. And this is where AI comes in, or generative AI comes in. You can use natural prompts to help you out. So this talk is about the positive aspects of generative AI. It shows also a little bit of the possibilities right now. It's July 2024. It's a fast changing game. And the limitations of generative AI right now for prototyping. About me, I'm the CEO and founder of Fresh von Root. It's a digital agency based in Vienna. I spent 10 years in developer marketing or in marketing roles at Microsoft. I'm very much into prototyping, content growth, social media marketing at the moment, and especially a strong focus right now on AI and how it changes the game for creators of all kinds. So prototyping before AI, you might haven't known how to code and were still able to create a digital prototype. There were no code tools, visual editors, visual page builders, app builders. All these tools have been existing for quite some time. You can imagine tools like Webflow, Ardalo, Glide, Airtable, or the Elementor page builder for WordPress. So as a marketer, as a designer, product owner, you have been able to take your idea to a visual representation or visual prototype or clickable prototype without knowing how to design or code. So if you ask ChatGPT what's needed to master to create a prototype, it gives you this long list of tools: wireframing tools, user testing tools, design tools, for example, Figma. It takes many hours to master Figma or to learn how to take your idea from first sketch to clickable prototype. So this is what changed. With AI, you have now a central cockpit, and you can create your ugly first prototype just by typing natural prompts. And the cool thing about AI is, or this AI chat web interface is that you can constantly think of multi-platform, multi-channel, multi-format all the time. What I mean by that is that you can start out by wireframing or getting feedback on an idea and then ask to create an HTML template or create a web app and so on and so on. And you can do all this context switching. So you could move from in the same conversation from getting feedback on an idea to creating the copy for the website, and then move on maybe to creating some images that should go on your landing page. Examples would be like ChatGPT custom GPTs or the AI magic button that turns up in all the software tools that you already use. I think of generative AI as kind of a Swiss Army knife. So it's one central interface, but you can do lots of things at once. So as I already said, image creation, content creation, HTML template creation, website creation, generating some code, whatever you need to get your prototype to a clickable prototype, you can do it from a central cockpit. So before AI, you might have created a document outlining your project idea, created some wireframes, you might have set up a landing page with WordPress, you collected feedback via Typeform, and so on. Now with these AI tools, you can use an AI tool like ChatGPT or any other as the central cockpit and orchestrate the whole prototyping process from one central interface. And the most crucial thing is that you can do it in natural language. You describe what you want to get as a result, and AI helps you to get there. And as a first step, you do not have to learn these special tools like Figma to get going. So this is what a typical prototype process might look like. You have a research phase, you outline features, you sketch or wireframe, you can use AI-powered text-to-image tools, you can use AI-powered design tools to define the basic style and identity, you can create the code with Gen AI tools, You could also directly publish your prototype from an AI tool. And then, of course, you can also use AI to collect the feedback and help you to get to a yes/no decision to take your first ugly prototype to an MVP, for example. Now, let's take a look at an example. We are moving into the demo part of this video. I start with a first prompt. I want to create an app that makes it possible for conference attendees to network. A key feature is the possibility to log in with your existing LinkedIn account. Once given access, it shows business professionals in the area and offers a low-key way to connect or set up a meeting. This was the first rough idea I had, and now I will show you how I took this first rough idea to a clickable prototype. So you already read about the idea. I changed it a little bit. It should have a Tinder-like interface. It should be used to set up meetings. And the goal of this conversation in AI is to have a visual and clickable representation at the end of this prototyping process. So at first, I'm collecting just feedback on the idea. I'm turning to ChatGPT or Gemini or Cloud, whatever tool you prefer. You paste in your first idea, and then you get like feedback in categories, what are the strengths, considerations, and you can also say, tell me why it will fail. User adoption, data privacy concerns, market saturation, and so on and so on. I did the same in Claudia and Gemini and others, so I can detect any loopholes in my thinking. Let's say I walk away from this first conversation with a positive feeling and feedback, and I want to immediately create some marketing copy. So in the next thing, or in the same conversation, I'm asking for an H1 heading, supporting headline, suggest benefits, and based on my description, it creates some first dummy content that I could put on my presentation. And I'm also saying I need some about copy for an about page on our landing page. As this is just a prototype, I leave it at this how it is. I'm happy with it, and I move on to the next stage, which is I need an app name. Again, I'm turning to ChatGPT. I have already described the app before, so here are some suggestions. It's a lot about this swipe thing, because I said it should reflect this Tinder-like interface, swipe, connect, link swipe, and so on. I don't like one name specifically, but the combination of some suggestions works for me. So I'm going with the name Swipe Thrive. And in the next conversation, I'm saying I need a logo for this app. It's called Swipe Thrive. I'm also providing a little bit of style input, which is like a color code. It should reflect to a business audience and be related to the LinkedIn brand. It comes up with these suggestions. As you can see, AI is still bad at writing stuff on images, but it's a prototype and I like the feel of it, so it immediately signals that this is an AI-generated prototype and I'm happy with it. So I'm going with this logo here. This is my favorite. I did some iterations on it, but I'm happy with this one. Now I need some visuals telling the story. I want to create a pitch deck to show around. What does it mean and what value does it bring to use my app at the conference? So again, in this case, I think I use Discord, not Discord, Midjourney in Discord. This is how people feel before they use my app. So each is sitting or standing alone and watching at a smartphone in a sad mood. The conference hall has a dark and pessimistic atmosphere. So this is before using my app. And this is after using my app. Business professionals casually dressed, spread across a bright lit conference hall. They are standing together in twos or groups, talking together. The conference hall has a modern Google-like office vibe, a positive atmosphere. So this is what a conference atmosphere looks like when people start using my app to meet others. So I'm quite happy with this first generated content pieces. We created some text, a logo, and some visuals. Now I want to create a slide deck. I'm using a slide app that supports comes with some AI features. I'm pasting in the generated content. I can do some settings here. For example, how much text should be on a card, should it be a website, should it be a slide deck, and so on. As you can see here in the screen recording, this is the generated slide deck. It has all the elements a typical pitch deck has on it, and this is what you see is what you get editing experience. So I can click in each layout element and change it, and of course change all the content. what of course is also what I would recommend. And it has also an interesting feature, this AI button, AI magic button. So you can use AI to further tune the created text, make it shorter, make it more informal, make it more formal, whatever your preferences are, and further use AI inside this slide deck builder. Okay, so now we took all this first material, we showed it around and got positive feedback. So we can move to the next phase of prototyping this idea and with the goal of getting to a clickable prototype. The first thing we need is some sample data. So I'm logging into ChatGPT. I'm saying create a data table with the example profiles, generate random test for data for 10 profiles. It does the job very good. So I get a name, company, role, LinkedIn profile, and so on. And you can see there's an image column that is empty. So for my prototype, best would be that I also have some dummy images. This is a chance for me to test out Meta AI. There's no specific reason from a technical standpoint I'm using Meta. I just wanted to try it out for this task. I want to create 10 profile images of business professionals, create 10 prompts, a 50-50 gender split. So it creates this 10 prompts for image creation. And I'm taking these 10 prompts also within Meta AI to create the actual profile images. And it creates these images. In Meta AI, you can say click an animate button on a generated image and it then starts animating these images. It's very stereotypy images. So for example, this is the creative director, this is the marketing manager, and so on. But anyway, it's good enough for a prototype. So I'm again updating our data table in ChatGPT and providing the links to the generated images. So now we have the data table, the sample data table ready. We also need some design basics for our app. As I already said, our app should reflect somehow or connect to the LinkedIn brand. What I did here is also with the help of Gen AI, I'm extracting the color scheme from the LinkedIn brand guidelines. So I downloaded from the LinkedIn page or brand kit. I uploaded the brand kit and it extracts the color codes used in here. And yeah, that's perfect for our prototype. We don't want to invest too much time here, but that's the color coding. Basically, we extracted and we move on to creating some wireframes. For the next step of our prototyping effort, we also want to have some basic UI elements to show around. So the first one is we generate some UI wireframes that we can edit in Figma. There's a tool out there that you can use to create a wireframe by typing a natural prompt. You can see here an app for business professionals. I copied in again my description of the app. And as you can see here, here's the output. You can switch the output between phone and desktop. And what's cool here is that you can further prompt. So in a second follow-up prompt, I could say, make the profile image way smaller, increase the font size of job title, and so on and so on. So give more specific instructions of what this wireframe should look like. Once I'm done, I could say copy to Figma and customize it even further to my needs. So this is like pre-production stuff that you get going with AI here. Once you are happy with a result, you can say copy to Figma and do the fine-tuning in Figma directly. Here's another tool that I use to create some interface designs. Again, I provided like the overall app description, and here is what it replied. I understand you need multiple screens. This is what I'm going to create: home screen, browse screen, profile detail screen, about screen, and profile screen, my profile screen. And these are the first results. Not bad, but this app is for business professionals and it's not a dating app. So the target audience is LinkedIn. I'm rebriefing basically and say this is not a dating app. I'm liking the next suggestions way more. So it looks more like an app for business professionals. The browse screen looks different. I can connect and message and so on. So this gives a pretty good feeling of what this app could look like. But I'm also, again, missing or forgot one specific screen in my first briefing. So I'm adding a follow-up prompt and saying, hey, I need a map screen, which makes it possible for me to see business professionals nearby that I could meet for a coffee. And this is what it created after using the follow-up prompt. So this is a GIF. You can see here, I clicked the copy over to Figma button again. I landed here in Figma, and I could now edit each specific element to my needs. But then again, this is where you would need some Figma skills. But anyway, this is a great starting point. Now we move on to creating the clickable prototype. So first thing we want to do is we want to create this AI generated user interface into a web app. Let's see how that is going. What I did is I uploaded this screenshot or created AI image and said create the HTML CSS based on this image. And what you can see here, it created the code and I got this first rough HTML rendering. I think this is pretty good. This is really just one prompt. And again, you could further improve by adding more prompts. So this is really just the first result. The same for the profile screen. I uploaded the screenshot from the AI generated image and said, turn it into an HTML. And it was quite good in doing so. This is especially useful for anyone who is not capable of using Figma or don't have the time to Figma, but still wants to get to a clickable prototype. There are lots of tools to do this. So GPT Vision Builder is one of the tools, transforms wireframes into web designs and so on, but there are many out there. So back in ChatGPT, I can also be more specific. I'm a no-code guy. I want to create a prototype of a web app. It should be runnable in browser without any third-party apps or extensions, because sometimes it suggests, okay, you could use Bubble or you could use Figma. No, I don't want to use these tools. I want to do it inside ChatGPT. Can you create the different screens with placeholder images and link the static files with each other? So this is what I did to make this clickable. And it created all the files and added the links. And I ended up getting these files downloaded to my local machine. And here you can see this is what it looks like. So I have a very rough first clickable prototype. And I have my logo in, I have some of the LinkedIn colors used and so on. So you get the picture of how this all comes together. But there's different ways to create clickable or visual prototypes. Another tool I used here is a tool where you can draw the user interface you want. So this is a typical carousel slider you might know. So once a user clicks this button, the next card should get bigger and this card should get smaller. And this is exactly what you can see here written. So here's the red instructions: click, next carousel item expands, and this shrinks. And up here you see the make real button. This button tells this tool to try to interpret your drawing and create the actual clickable visual prototype. Let's see if that is working. So it takes a few seconds. I click the make real button. And now you can see that here's this basic user interface component. I can click the next button and one item gets bigger, the other items get smaller. Still, this is not showing any data. So in the next step, I'm infusing the sample data I created with ChatGPT. And you can go from iteration to iteration. So you copy one drawing, duplicate it, change some things, and click again the make real button. So you can get to a visual prototype that represents your project. So this is especially an interesting way for anyone who is better at drawing compared to prompting, for example. Now, let's say we are happy with our first visual prototypes and we want to publish these on the web. What we are doing next is we have this custom GPT called Netlify Website Developer. And this custom GPT is extremely cool. You can start chatting. You have a chat about your app, for example, this HTML prototypes or a specific web app you want to create. And you can say inside ChatGPT directly publish the web app on Netlify. Here's a side note. Lots of these tools and custom GPTs and all the design tools I just showed are version 1.0 products or alpha versions. So sometimes you hit an error message, but nonetheless, after some tries, you will get to your result already with these tools. So sometimes it discovers that you write the code and then it says, would you like me to deploy this to Netlify for you? You say yes. And it uses a feature of Netlify called Netlify Drop. And it says the website has been successfully deployed to Netlify. You can view your landing page here. Important, you have 1 hour to claim this URL. So in case you like the created prototype, you can log into Netlify, claim the URL, and it's yours. If you don't do that, after 1 hour, it's gone again. But this is really just to show you that you don't have to know any tech about hosting companies, publishing web apps on the web, whatever it is. You can do it directly from ChatGPT, taking your first visual clickable prototype, publish it directly on Netlify, send around the URL to collect feedback. Now, this is the next step. We want to collect feedback. So you can create a form in Google Forms, but what should you write on the form and what should the form fields be? Here you can ask ChatGPT and it creates questions and puts them in categories, but then you still have to create the form on your own. There's a different tool you could use, an AI form builder. You describe the type of survey or form you want to create. In this case, I'm saying I have a clickable prototype. I tested it with 500 people. And I want to know how the survey should be structured, and I need some suggestions. So in the next step, I can create the form fields, and this tool knows the background of the form that I want to build, and I can click the magic button and it generates some suggestions. So this is a really easy way to get the first version of the feedback form I want to create. Once I'm done, I can publish it right away from here. Of course, for the form builder, I can change the input form type, I can change the ordering and everything you know from classic form applications. The difference is just that it's meant or created from a standpoint that you start out with AI and describing the form you want to create. So here is how this works. What's your overall impression of the prototype? I'm writing go on Valve. How would you rate the ease of use of this prototype? Excellent. Do you have any suggestions on how we could improve the features of the prototype? And I'm saying go for it. And go for it is actually not a good answer on this question. So it again tells me to answer this again. So this is a nice feature of this app. It does not only come up with the question you should ask, it also checks if the answers do make sense. Now we collected feedback and we use data analyst inside ChatGPT to analyze our answers and get to a yes/no decision if we should move our prototype to the next level. And this is what I'm starting with. This file holds feedback from 500 people who tested my prototype. Column D shows feature requests, summarize it, and group in categories. Good. So a quick recap what you just saw. We built some material to convey the idea of our app idea, some marketing material, a logo, icon, app name, slides, and so on. It took us about 30 minutes, and we built a clickable prototype in the second part of this video, and wireframes, user interface screens, sample data, clickable prototype, and published it on the web and asked for feedback. So once you know all the tools, this takes you a few hours. So if you have a few hours on a Friday, you could do that. Of course, before that comes the learning phase for the AI tools. But still, a simple prompt in ChatGPT can get you going fairly quickly, especially if you say, guide me through the process. So you don't have to know everything. You can always ask AI tools to guide you through the process. So this is just a screenshot of the material, idea brainstorming, sample data, logo, user interface design. We have been drawing a user interface. We use Netlify GPT. We create an AI form builder and so on. So this is all you saw just in this video to take a rough first idea to a clickable or visual prototype. Is this the end of software development? I do not think so. There's a lot of discussion about this, especially on Reddit. AI is going to end programming as a career. I would say developers or engineers can focus on better quality problems. So generative AI is great for prototyping, but I don't think it's right now ready to create market-ready products. But it can be used already to fill in some loopholes to get your products market-ready. But it won't put developers out of work or designers out of work, is my opinion. So this is why I think generative AI or AI in general is a perfect tool for prototyping, especially for people lacking some of the skills that are needed to create digital prototypes. I would also say AI is in the same category as like the broad adoption of the PC or the World Wide Web in the early 90s. I'm taking here the public release of ChatGPT. I know that research in AI has gone on for way longer, for decades. But with the public release of ChatGPT, we all got access to an AI-powered tool. Generative AI makes prototyping more accessible. I said that already at the beginning, and I repeat it here. Compared to learning all these tools before you can create wireframes or a visual representation and so on, you can start by prompting. Does this only work with ChatGPT? I mentioned ChatGPT a lot. Definitely not. I have used Cloud AI. I have done some tests in Perplexity, Meta, and Mistral. I had bad results with Gemini, but yeah, this is maybe has been improved a lot by now. I will take it again for a test, but surprisingly good. I think taking the lead currently is Cloud AI and ChatGPT, especially if you want to have this holistic view. And the custom GPTs, of course, is right now a powerful feature that you will find only in ChatGPT. And there's a lot of GPTs out there. I don't recommend any specific ones, but you will find out which ones work for you best. But you don't need to use a custom GPT at the beginning. So it's just a classic ChatGPT. I'm using ChatGPT Plus, but in general, the classic ChatGPT is good enough to get started. ChatGPT is also remembering what you previous conversations. So for example, this memory says it took a note that I'm interested in creating apps or this prototyping thing. So ChatGPT is also learning about about you, and it gets to a stage of like being a personal AI. You can manage these memories and also delete them. So you might not want to have all AI conversations remembered. This is just a reminder, this screenshot of how we built websites. Like in the beginning of the 90s, we had like GeoCities, these website builders. You logged in, have chosen a template. Very often, the sites never went beyond having an under construction GIF. But anyway, I think this is, we have now entered the age of the AI-powered creator. So, and speed of development, you all know these images. Midjourney in 2022, March, we all have been laughing at like how bad AI is at painting the details. And now this is from 2023, with Midjourney version 5, how fast and quick it improved and how good the results are right now. So what are the use cases for this prototyping effort? Internal company apps, content marketing apps, everyday apps, or apps that have been developed 1,000 times. You can also use it for variant testing and to create ugly first drafts of apps that can work as a prototype to collect feedback, get your team on board, and so on. And especially for any type of creator, you can use this method to learn about the complexity of a project. Some other examples, I created a snake game in the browser. I gave some design specifics, like use the specific gradient we use in our company. I also said it should be a human that eats robots. Or another example that I created an app to create square images for my LinkedIn profile. I had an input field, which is like the heading, the second heading, and I could choose a gradient. And I click generate, and it creates this square image that I put on my LinkedIn profile. So this is like an app that is useful to us within our agency. Not useful to anyone outside, but it's created with a few prompts and a time saver for us already. We have entered the end, not the end, we have entered the era of the AI-powered creator. We are nearly the end of this presentation. AI is really empowering a lot of people that previously lacked the skills to create digital prototypes or digital products. And I think this is the mindset we currently are all adopting. So next time you are having a great idea, don't put it on your to-do list, carve out a few hours and try out AI to get to a visual prototype or a clickable prototype, and you can do that on repeat. Especially you can also distribute this video within your team to get others excited about trying this out as a team, which is way more fun. So execution of ideas gets easier, gets quicker, gets faster, and anybody can try it now with the help of writing natural prompts. If you want to learn more about this or want to hire us to work with you on distributing that knowledge and getting your team excited, or want to have one-on-one coaching, whatever you want to do in that respect, check out prototyping.com. Remember, here with an AI in, and book your discovery call. I hope this presentation was useful to you. And yeah, please share it with anyone interested. Give me a thumbs up, or let me know in the comments what you think about this prototyping process. Thanks.